is Fredrik Haren from the world of creativity. Today is from the beautiful island of Mauritius. What can we learn about creativity from Mauritius? The unique thing with Mauritius is that they have redeveloped themselves over and over again. Actually, it started with sugarcane and they became a huge producer of sugarcane and a leading sugarcane producer. But then competition came in and other countries started to produce sugarcane. Then they went into textiles and then they got competition from Bangladesh and from India. Then it ventured into tourism, and as other countries also started building resorts, the competition increased. And of course, Mauritius is still big on sugarcane, they're still big on textiles, they're still big on tourism. But they always transition into something else. Then they went into finance, and they're one of the leading finance centers of the world, which is amazing for a small country in the middle of nowhere. So one example that I visited when I was here in Mauritius, I went and visited a tomato farmer.
My name is Telvish, and I'm using under the brand name of Tomatel, and my company is Telv Limited.
So you are a tomato grower?
I'm a tomato grower.
In greenhouses like this? But not right now because it's not planting season, so they're empty. So do you like tomatoes?
I eat tomatoes, yeah.
A tomato farmer, you would think that growing tomatoes is just like growing tomatoes. You put it in the ground and it grows, and then you harvest the tomatoes. But here I met with an entrepreneur who questioned this idea that we should be growing tomatoes in the ground, and instead he's growing tomatoes in a greenhouse, growing them on coconut tusks from the weave of the coconut. That means that he gets a yield that is way higher than any yield that you get from growing from land. How many tomatoes do you get here?
When we plant in the soil, like traditional plant, we get like 2 kg maximum per plant. So when we plant on hydroponics, one plant you might get around 25 to 30 kg.
So instead of getting 2 kilos, you get 25 kilos.
In hydroponics.
Per plant. So how are the guys who are doing normal planting in soil? How do they look at this?
There's more people are shifting. Nobody wants to plant. So youngsters don't want to make their money on their hand on soil, everything. We don't want to dirty their hand. So basically, more people that are doing it right now are very old person, around 60 plus. They do plantation. So basically, this is a new form of plantation in Mauritius.
So what's the lesson here?
The lesson was being creative. Being creative. We put technology and creative also. So planting with technology.
That's what we can learn from Mauritius. This ability to constantly look at what you're doing and evaluate if there's something else we should be doing. Which is so symbolic because the symbol itself of Mauritius is the dodo. The dodo was a very big bird that couldn't fly, and it thrived on Mauritius for hundreds of years because there were no humans. The dodo had no predators. Then suddenly humans came, and in less than 100 years the dodo went from thriving to being extinct. Now it's easy to say that humans killed the dodo, and it is true. Human beings is responsible, or could be seen as being responsible for the extinction of not only the dodo but a lot of species, unfortunately. But you could also argue, as Darwin did, that nature, evolution, is about survival of the fittest. Actually, I would like to say that instead of saying it's the survival of the fittest, I'd like to say that evolution is about extinction of the rigid. You see, the dodo died because it wasn't able to adapt to the fact that human beings came in and killed it. Or more importantly, that human beings brought rats on their ships, and the rat ate the dodo's eggs, and the dodo only laid one egg at a time. So slowly they went extinct. The lesson of the dodo is not that humans killed the dodo. The lesson of the dodo is that the dodo didn't change according to the change in the environment. It went extinct because it was too rigid, too stuck in the way it was developed. If we would have adapted, became better at hiding, developed camouflage, became more aggressive, or whatever it needed to do in order to defend itself from the new predators that came in, the dodo would still be alive. Perfect example of the ability to question and see if there's a better way of doing things. The mindset of the Mauritian people to always redo and look at if we can do what we're doing in a different way. The animals or the people or the businesses that are too rigid and not able to adapt to the world that changes around them will go extinct. So let's look at the dodo as a warning example about the dangers of being too rigid, too slow to see the changing landscape. Let's be inspired by Mauritius' ability to redo and redo and redo what they're doing. And let's use the example of the dodo as an example of what happens if you don't. So redo, don't do-do. Redo, don't do-do. Redo, don't do-do. Redo, don't do-do.